In today's video, we're playing Dwarves, Dragons, and we're singing a song about it. This deck should probably be called The Hobbit. Let's go check it out. Before we begin, I would like to take a moment and thank community member Kelly Kais for today's donation deck. They're a member of the Combo Cabal, which is the top tier on this YouTube channel, where you get 1 hour of tutoring every month, but you also get a free donation deck. Kelly Kais cashed in that donation deck today for me to play the Dreamstalker's Wild Song of Creation combo deck. And why is it so wild? Well, it's not traditional. Instead of playing, common things, we're playing Mox Jasper, a relatively new card, where for 0 mana you have a legendary artifact that taps for a mana of any color as long as you control a dragon. Well, there's only one dragon in this deck, and it's Corvald Fae-Cursed King. And how do you get to 5 mana for this 4/4? Well, you have Magda in your deck, where whenever you tap a dwarf, you create a treasure token, and then you can sacrifice 5 dragons and search your deck for a dragon. But we only have 4 dwarves, and we have the 1 dragon. This seems tough. Well, it's all made possible by some changelings in our deck. The Moth Dust Changeling that, you can give it flying by tapping a creature. Okay, so that means that you could theoretically tap this creature itself, which is a dwarf because it's a changeling, and that creates a treasure with Magda. Okay, well, we also have Universal Automaton, which is also a dwarf. Okay, so we have these 8 dwarves in our deck that can then create treasures with the Magda that allow you to turbocharge into Corvald Fae-Cursed King. But they also enable Mox Jasper. So now you have this 1 mana creature that turns on your Mox for 1 mana. So that way you have a bunch of zeros in your deck that speed up your game plan and accelerate you into Song of Creation. There's so much synergy here, and I love it. Not to mention the fact that Mox Jasper turns on Mox Opal, so you're helping with Metalcraft. We also have Mox Amber. So the Universal Automaton does not count as a legendary creature. Yes, it's a changeling, but legendary is a super type, not a creature type. So the Mox Ambers don't work with these creatures, but they do work with the Magna, Brazen Outlaw, and Emery Lurker of the Loch. So in this Song of Creation deck, we get to play 12 Moxen, which is really, really powerful. In previous videos, I've played Mox Amber and Mox Opal, and I loved having 8 Moxen. Well, in today's video, we're going up to 12 thanks to Mox Jasper. And eventually, after you play all of your Moxen and draw your library with Song of Creation, you'll play Thassa's Oracle and win the game. That's how this deck works. You also have a backup game plan of Urza's Saga just beating your opponent to death, and then getting cards like Tormod's Crypt or the Haywire Might. Additionally, in the sideboard, we have Concerted Defense, which is pretty cool, because you can counter a non-creature spell, and then it costs +1 for each creature in your party. Well, when you have a bunch of changelings in your deck, you can imagine how good Concerted Defense becomes with those party rules, where you're rewarded for having Cleric, Rogue, Warrior, and Wizard. Additionally, we have Consigned to Memory for the Eldrazi decks of the format. Echoing Truth is a generic answer. Galvanic Blast to kill creatures. Nature's Claim and Back to Nature for enchantments and artifacts. Same thing with this Beseiju. Aether Spellbomb and the Needle are Urza's Saga targets. So that's the deck list. I'll be honest, I don't really know what the Ledger Shredder's for, but hopefully we find out in the video. So shout out to the Dreamstalker for creating this deck list, and thank you to Kelly Kais for the donation deck. Hopefully it does well in today's video. I'll see you in the first round. Don't go anywhere. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicsforum.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicsforum.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to match number 1. We're on the draw. We've opened up a pretty good hand. I will keep this. So I like the fact that we have Song of Creation. What we're lacking right now is red and green mana. We have the 1 of Watery Grave, which is a little awkward here, but I like that we have the Universal Automaton and the Magda here. Alright, so it looks like we're facing Amulet Titan on the draw. I do imagine that our deck is a little bit slower than Titan. So the question is, do I want to play Urza's Saga? It will give me a turn 4 artifact, and is that fast enough? I don't know, but I feel like it's at least worth trying. And then we'll play the Universal Automaton, Mishra's Bauble. And we'll bobble them. Basic Forest, okay. We'll draw off the bobble. Mox Jasper would be a good draw because it would accelerate me into the Song of Creation. Their Urza Saga goes to the second chapter. Being on the draw was not good in this matchup. So next turn, I'd likely want to play Magda and then attack with the Automaton, and that can accelerate us into a turn 3. But I just don't think I'm going to get a turn 3 versus our opponent's draw here. Another Explore, okay. Like, pretty much the only way I think I win this is if they don't have access to a Titan, and why would you play Chaleria West if you don't have a Titan? Mox Amber, okay. So we'll play the Scalding Tarn, fetch down to 18. I'm sorry, fetch down to 17. We'll grab a Steam Vents, and we'll play the Magda. And now we'll attack with the Universal Automaton. This will create a treasure, and then we'll pass the turn. I mean, if for some reason they pass the turn back to us, I can win the game. But I just don't think that's going to happen. So you might be saying, Bryant, why not play out the Mox Amber? And they do have the Summoner's Pact for the Titan, so we're dead. And then you could Otawara. That's not how it works, unfortunately. Otawara costs 1 less for each legendary creature we have. And even though the Universal Automaton is a changeling, it is not legendary. So it would not reduce the amount for Otawara. Okay, so our opponent's just going to do their own thing here. There's the Primeval Titan. And we're super dead. Alright, I'm going to save myself some life equity here and just concede. They're going to do the Mirror Pool loop, where eventually they'll transmute Chaleria West for the... I'm blanking on the name. The creature where you sacrifice and return all lands. And then eventually they make infinite Primeval Titans and attack. But it takes like 5 minutes plus for them to go through the loop, and I just value my time here on this planet. So we're going to move on. I think we want the Needle. We want the Spell Bomb. We might want the Consign because it can counter the Titan trigger. It's just a lot of cards coming in, so I don't know if I love that. Get rid of the Tormod's Crypt. Probably get rid of Glints of the Cosmos. If you're unfamiliar with this card, it's basically just like a supercharged Anticipate in this deck, where you look at the top 3, put 1 into your hand, the rest in the bottom, but then if you have a Giant, you can essentially flash it back from the graveyard for 1 blue. And in our deck full of Changelings, we have Giants. So, yeah, Anticipate is a fine card, but I just don't know if that's what we need. So I'm at 62 cards right now. I'm not sure what to sideboard out. I wonder if it's like 2 Emerys, because they're kind of like a slow value card in a fast matchup. We'll try this. I'm not sure if it's correct. On the play. Yeah, we'll keep. We'll play Scalding Tarn, fetch. I really need to draw a Magda with this hand. Grab the Steam Vents. Play the Automaton. Mox Opal. And then Mox Amber. So I could play the Changeling here, but then I don't have Consign to Memory to counterspell an Amulet on the first turn. So I don't think I want to play out the Changeling. It doesn't matter that much. And they do have an Amulet. So the fact that they played Urza Saga makes me wonder if I should not go after Amulets, but maybe just save this for the Titan trigger. Because they essentially have double Amulet. So I'm going to hold the Consign. Saga. So now I'm only 1 mana away from playing Song of Creation. Play the Changeling. And we'll attack. Swing. Saga goes to the next chapter. They play another Amulet. Okay. Lotus Field. Sure. Turn 2 win. Aftermath Analyst. That's the name of it. I just remembered it without needing to look it up. So I think now we counter this trigger. And I guess I might as well replicate it. Okay. Same targets. The problem is that I'm pretty far from winning still. We found the Magda, but I don't have enough to win here. Like, I could put the song into play, but I don't think that's good enough. If I can make 2 treasures, play the song, I think I'm going to just pass. Like, I don't want to play out the song and then have it destroyed for no reason, when I could also just make 3 treasures on the end step. And I'm pretty sure they just attack and kill me now, but we'll see. Alright, so now they're swinging. Also, maybe I should have left in the Tormod's Crypt, not thinking about the Aftermath Analyst loops. It's just traditionally Crypt isn't good against Titan, but maybe I was supposed to leave it in here. They grab Mirror Pool and Asimic Growth Chamber. So they're going to be able to copy Primeval Titan. I'm fairly certain I'm just dead. And now they grab another Growth Chamber and Teleria West. No blocks. Pretty sure they can kill me from here. We know that they have Teleria West already, but they've attacked. So I guess you just make infinite Primeval Titans and then Valakut me for lethal? I guess we'll just make some treasures and then F6 and let them do their thing. Okay. So I'm pretty sure I died of Valakut here, but we'll let them go through the loop. So they're going to play Aftermath Analyst. Well, they can grab it. It's just, we know that they have a, what is it called? Teleria West in their hand. And now they play Echoing Depths, which allows them to copy the Lotus Field. Tons of mana. And they have the Analyst in hand already. They don't even need a tutor for it. Now they're going to Green Sun Zenith for 6. Sure. Our opponent just had it all this game. Shifting Woodland and Beseju who endures. Okay. And now the Aftermath Analyst. So they're going to eventually create a loop here where they can copy the Aftermath Analyst over and over again. And with the Mirror Pool, you end up with infinite Primeval Titans. And eventually I will die to Vesuva. I'm sorry, not Vesuva, Valakut. After they search out the, what is it called? Sorry, it's been a while since I've actually played this deck. Dryad of the Elysian Grove. So they're making tons of mana, and now they'll tap for a bunch of mana and then sacrifice 6 lands. So this is what helps the Aftermath Analyst, is being able to then sacrifice those lands with the Lotus Fields over and over again. So Primeval Titan. They grabbed an Otawara this time. I mean, they should just do the Dryad plus the Valakut Awakening. Or, I keep on saying the wrong card names. Valakut, the Molten Pinnacle win. Assuming they're still playing it, but I think they are. Like, most lists still have it as far as I know. They Besejued our Saga, sure. Grab a Thundering Falls. Keep the Mox Jasper. Now they're transmuting the Teleria West. They grab a Summoner's Pact. And now they can go grab the Dryad. Let's see if they do it. They grab 6 instead. Okay, well, I'm going to sit here. I know that this might not be super exciting to watch, but now the Analyst again brings everything back. And they're just going to Beseju all of my things, I guess. Sure. They could technically destroy all of my lands with the Beseju as well and just pass with like infinite Primeval Titans. They now play the 6. Sure. Transmutes Teleria West. Finds Urza's Saga. Weird. Aftermath Analyst again. Alright, I'm getting bored sitting here. I'm going to go to the next one. Like, we've lost this. I'm going to assume our opponent knows what they're doing, and they're just going to Beseju and Otawara all of my things. So I'm going to finish the turn with 1 basic land, and that's it. So we'll go to the next one. We've lost this. We're 0-1. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. Round number 2, looking to bounce back on the play. I think that this is a keep. Watery Grave, Mox Amber, Mox Opal, and then we'll play Emery, triggers. We milled over Song of Creation, I don't love that. And now I can play the Automaton, tap the Opal for a red, play Amber, and then turn 1 Magda. So we've played our entire hand on turn 1. Love to see it. Alright, and then next turn I can theoretically replay the Mox Amber if I choose. They play a Hallowed Fountain. And Tameo. Thundering Falls. I think we just attack here. Create a few treasures. They block and take 3. We'll play Thundering Falls. Orvold, I can play that next turn. We'll keep that on top. Pass the turn. Oh, that's funny. They fetch with Arid Mesa. For a Sacred Foundry, Thundertrap Trainer, Galvanic Discharge. They attack. We'll do black, red, green, blue, and then we have to sacrifice a treasure. We'll pay domain for Corval the Fae-Cursed King. So when it enters or attacks, sacrifice another permanent. We will sacrifice Mox Opal. Trigger. We drew a changeling. And now I can play the other Mox Amber. And Legend Rule will force me to sacrifice. And I'll keep the new one, which allows me to... Oh, I thought that's a sacrifice. I thought I should have drawn a card off this. Because I believe like Legend Rule states you sacrifice, but I guess I'm wrong. And then we'll play the Moth Dust Changeling. And now I can actually create more treasures, which I can then sacrifice and draw cards with the Corvold. I don't even need to swing into the Thundertrap Trainer. Alright, 4 mana, we'll make a blue, draw a card, make a red, draw a card, another Saga, make a green, draw a card. Ugh, not looking good. Make another blue, draw a card. Mishra's Bauble, target you, Mox Jasper. Lorien revealed is their top card. We'll play the Mox Jasper, play Urza's Saga, pass the turn. That was pretty cool. And now we draw a card off the Bauble. If I had known that the Legend Rule wouldn't have worked, I would have sacrificed a Mox Amber instead of the Opal to the initial trigger. And they concede to my 10/10 Corvold. Let's go. Smog is back. Love it. So some sort of, I don't know, wizard deck. Likely want at least the Beseiju. Probably don't need Tormod's Crypt. I feel like this deck wants a Lava Spur Boots because then you could give your Corvold haste, but it's also really good with Urza Saga. Probably want the Concerted Defense. Take out Glimpse of the Cosmos. And I think that's it. I guess maybe I want Galvanic Blast for like Tameo. We'll shave a couple Moxen. Let's try this. I don't know about this one. I mean, Double Song is cool, but with both my lands being Sagas, I don't know if this is good enough. I think I want to try it. It's extremely risky, though. Turn 1 Sacred Foundry. We drew a third Saga right on time. That's exactly what I wanted. Thank you. And then we'll play Mishra's Bauble. Target you. Flame of Anor. So one thing I do think about this deck, or thought about this deck as well, is if you would like a Springleaf Drum for the Saga to work with the Magda, so that way you don't have to draw the Changeling every time. But it's not my deck list. This is User the Dreamstalker's deck list. So I'm sure they've tested a bunch of things, but like Springleaf Drum made a lot of sense to me from a deck building perspective. Saga will go to the second chapter. On our turn, we draw another Opal. Play Saga. We have to pass the turn. They play land number 3. We know they have a Flame of Anor in their hand. So that's not great for me. They grab a Hallowed Fountain. Thundertrap Trainer. Sure. Lair of Denial. Don't love seeing that. And now Saga's going to go to the third chapter. And now we search. Maybe Mox Amber? Play the Saga. Play Mox Opal. Let's play Conjurer's Bauble, because if this resolves, Opal can then make a construct. And that construct would be so large that it would live through a Galvanic Discharge. And I think now we just pass. Like, we know that they have Flare of Denial and Flame of Anor. Let's try to not play into those cards too much. 3 mana here. They're going to Flame of Anor. In response, we will make a construct, because if I don't, I can't make a construct this turn. And now they play Arid Mesa. So now it's small enough where it would die to a Galvanic Discharge. And I cannot make a construct with the Saga that's leaving this turn. But I can float a mana here. So we'll search. And I think it's just like Mishra's Bauble or Haywire Might. We'll go with Mishra's Bauble. Play another Mox Opal. Create another construct. Go to combat. Swing. They block with a Thundertrap Trainer. And I think we just passed the turn. They grab Steam Vents. And tune the narrative. Ooh, Wrath of the Skies would blow me out of the water here. I was not considering Wrath of the Skies. It looks like they have it too. Devastating. Okay, well that certainly beats us. Nope, I can't. It's going to destroy literally my entire board. I'm not going to sit that one through. We could just go to the next one. I think I'm going to just resubmit here. I thought about bringing the Ledger Shredder, but I don't even know what I'd want to sideboard out. So we'll just try this. This does not seem like a keep to me. Mulligan. This seems okay. Bottom a Mox Opal. We'll fetch, go down to 17, and we'll play the Universal Automaton on the first turn. Play the Bauble, and then we'll cycle it. Thundertrap Trainer. Draw off the Bauble. Another Bauble, okay. Hallowed Fountain. They have Prismatic Ending. Brutal. Okay. We'll play Island into Magda. And Mishra's Bauble. Target you. So this is sort of the problem, is like with Magda, I want to attack to create treasures, but without a changeling, there's no secondary way to tap my Magda without attacking. So that's why I feel like you want more ways to tap your creatures. Otherwise, I'm trading a creature that I need, and they find a Flame of Anor. Corvold, okay. I can't play it this turn, so I think I'll pass. Or maybe I'm supposed to attack, I don't know. We know that they have the Flame. They fetch with Scalding Tarn, and here comes the Flame. Yep. They choose to not attack, interesting. We'll fetch, grab Breeding Pool, concerted defense. That's not terrible. So I'm still short of protecting the Corvold. I'm short 2 mana. So I need 1 more mana just to play it, and then I would need 2 to protect it. And now they swing. They have 6 cards in their hand. We'll fetch. Grab the Watery Grave. So now we have all of the colors needed to cast the Corvold. Play the Automaton. So what's interesting about the Automaton draw is that it gets me closer to Opal and it counts towards concerted defense. They fetch with Arid Mesa. Grabs a Meticulous Archive. Land number 5. They still have 6 cards in their hand. Blage. That's not very cool. Okay. And they're just holding up and counterspell mana too. Alright, so I'll take 1 here. Galvanic Blast. Sure, I mean, we'll pass the turn. They fetch with Scalding Tarn. Thundering Falls. Gets rid of Wrath of the Skies. And here comes the Fillage. Yep, so now I'll go down to 10. So if I kill the Thundertrap Trainer, it technically buys me a turn. So I'll kill it here because if I go to 9, next turn I'm dead on board to the Fillage, where this actually gives me an extra draw. Does that extra draw matter? Probably not. Like, let's be realistic here. But the potential is there. Pass. Now the Fillage kills my Magda. Yep. Alright, last draw step. That is not good enough. Alright, so we did not get a match win, but we did get a game win. Alright, well that's something. Let's try to get 2 game wins in the next round. I'll see you in the 3rd match. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $15.99. This token combo pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens featuring classic Storm and Mana tokens with new inclusions such as our modern Ruby Storm package, but that's not all. Our token pack covers a variety of formats from Pauper to CDH with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. Round number 3, trying to get our first match win. Let's go. So we have a couple changelings and then nothing to do with the mana. I think we're supposed to mulligan. I guess at least we have Urza Saga here. We'll keep and bottom the Otawara. It's either Otawara or the changeling. We'll play Island and the Conjurer's Bauble. I'm trying to set up so that way on turn 3 I can activate the Saga. Because I don't think the changeling plan matters right now. Looted Delta for a Blood Crypt. Cecil Dark Knight. Sure. We draw Misty Rainforest. We'll play the Saga. Play Opal. And the Changeling. Pass the turn. They cycle a Street Wraith. Another Street Wraith. Okay. So this is probably a Death Shadow deck. Scalding Tarn. I guess the back half has lifelink, so it doesn't even work that well with Death Shadow, so maybe that's not true. They discard Winter Night Stories and a Detective's Phoenix. And now they're fetching with Scalding Tarn for a Watery Grave. And now they're swinging. No blocks, we'll take it. And a Nethergoyf, sure. So we'll draw a Saga, we'll go to the 2nd chapter. It's a Mishra's Bauble. Play the breeding pool untapped. Actually, no, we can play it tapped here because the bauble gives us Metalcraft. So maybe I was supposed to play out the Misty Rainforest instead so I could surveil. They play a Bloodstained Mire. They fetch down to 7. Gray Swamp. So when this attacks, all other creatures gain indestructible. Oh, it's all other creatures. So I could try to block here with my Saga, or I could wait a turn. I think I'll throw the Changeling under the bus, and I don't want to trade the Saga Construct, so I will just allow that to happen. And now they flash back Faithless Looting. So, like, this is a great spot for a Lava Spur Boots that is not in our deck. Like, I just really think this deck wants a Lava Spur Boots, but for some reason the list doesn't have one. So they're at 11. We're about to make a 4-4. And then on our turn, we make another construct, which would be a 5-5. And then if we had a Lava Spur Boots, you have a 5-5 and a 6-5, which would be lethal. Haywire Might will make another construct. We'll grab Tormod's Crypt, use the Haywire Might, play the Misty, attack for 7. And then part of me is like, I want to just use the Tormod's Crypt now, because then their Netherglyph gets smaller, and they can't use the Detective's Phoenix with the Bestow. Yeah, I think I want to use it now. Pass the turn. Faithless Looting again. Psychic Frog and a Raucous Theater. Steam Vents. They go to 2. They're thinking about attacking here. They've been paused for a moment. I can't imagine attacking here, but I obviously don't know the context of their hand. And they choose to pass. Okay. On the end step, we'll sacrifice the Misty Rainforest. Grab the Thundering Falls. We don't need a Changeling. That can go to the graveyard. Mox Jasper. So at the bare minimum, this makes our constructs a little bit larger. Swing for lethal. Well, they're going to block. It's not lethal. I shouldn't say that, but threatening lethal. Unholy Heat. Okay. It's not lethal yet. They're not going to kill the construct yet. Did they mess up? They must have, right? Pass the turn? Yeah, I think they forgot that they didn't have Delirium. And now they're going to harmonize the Winter... Oh, no, this isn't. This is a different Winter Night Stories. My bad. So this is Winter Night Stories from hand. And they concede. So we got another game win. Did not combo. We just beat down. Galvanic Blast. Maybe the Aether Spellbomb. And I think it's safe to probably just cut a couple Moxen. Maybe we'll get rid of the Glimpse of the Cosmos too. No, we'll leave 1. It's really hard sideboarding with this deck because I feel like you need everything. We'll get rid of the Conjurer's Bauble. I don't think, that card is super critical. It puts your Oracle back on the bottom if it's discarded, but it just seems like a rare occurrence. I suppose we keep this. It doesn't seem amazing. Turn 1 Blood Crypt. Okay, so they play a Marauding Mako on turn 1. We draw Misty Rainforest. We'll take 2 and play a Changeling. Scalding Tarn and Faithless Looting. So their Mako here will become a 3-3. They discard a Detective's Phoenix and a Scalding Tarn. Okay, so I'll fall to 15. This looks like a Hollow One deck, but we haven't actually seen Hollow One yet. Another land is the draw. Don't love that. We'll grab a basic. Play Mox Opal. Emery, Lurker of the Loch. It's a Spellbomb and Glimpse of the Cosmos. Okay. Swing. They fetch with Scalding Tarn. For a Raucous Theater. Watery Grave and a Faithless Looting. They discarded a Netherglyph and a Swamp, and their Mako's now a 5-5. If my Emery lives, I can bounce the Mako with the Aether Spellbomb. But the question is, does it live? I don't know. I'm not blocking. I'll go to 9. They play a Netherglyph. And it looks like Emery is allowed to bring back the Spellbomb this turn. Target the Spellbomb. Play Spellbomb. I'm sorry, play Misty. And now we'll play Spellbomb. Stubborn Denial. Okay. We'll play Glimpse of the Cosmos. It's not looking good here. So I have to chump block and then I'll be at 4. I fetch down to 3. Steam Vent's down to 1 and then Song works. So I guess maybe I don't Surveil and I just play Emery as a blocker here. Grab the Breeding Pool. Play another Emery. I suppose I have to play the Bauble to do so. Maybe this line wasn't great because now that's one less song trigger. And we'll pass. Yeah, this line might not have been it. I think I'm supposed to block with both because that leaves me enough mana to go land, song, trigger with the Opal. I'm dead if they have another Stubborn Denial. Another Goyf. Sure. So I have a decision here on whether or not I would like to sacrifice the Bauble. But if I sacrifice the Bauble, I'm even further away from Metalcraft with the Opal. So it's how much does the draw matter versus triggering Metalcraft or creating Metalcraft. I think I want the draw, but I'm not certain. Detective's Phoenix is their top card. They have one card in hand. So we'll draw off the Bauble, Scalding Tarn, and a Magda. I feel like I would need to be incredibly lucky to win here. I am at 4. Song of Creation. They have another Stubborn Denial. Okay. So we lose game number 2. Brutal. I don't think I need the Haywire Might. We'll bring in a copy of Concerted Defense. And then maybe Shaven Emery for the other. Let's try this. On the play for game 3. Well, I have Metalcraft for Galvanic Blast. You can't take that away from me. The question is the rest of the hand good enough? I think I'm going to try it because I have the Surveil off the Scalding Tarn plus 2 Bauble draws. Play Bauble, play Bauble, play Opal, pass the turn. So by playing everything out this turn, I can end step Galvanic Blast a creature plus Surveil. We'll fetch, grab the Thundering Falls. Do I want the Changeling? It would give me Metalcraft and turn on the Jasper, so I'm guessing yes. And then we'll kill the Marauding Mako. And I'm not going to pop the Baubles quite yet. I'll play Steam Vents tapped, play the Automaton, play Mox Jasper, pass the turn. They Faithless Looting, Phoenix and a Cecil Dark Knight. They cycle Street Wraith. They play Bloodstained Mire, and there's the first hollow one. Well, a hollow 2. Okay. We're in a little bit of trouble here. Use one of the Baubles at least. Mako. And I think I'll use the other. We are not in a great spot. So we'll draw 3 this turn, 2 off Baubles, and then our draw step. Song was good. So the question is, does it resolve? I'm guessing probably not, but we have to take our shot. Green and black. Song of Creation. And they have the Stubborn Denial. So you might be saying, couldn't you wait a turn and draw another mana? You could, but another mana doesn't help when they have 4/4s in play. Because the, I believe it's the keyword Ferocious. Yeah, Ferocious. Makes it a hard counter. You just have to pass. Vexing Bauble. That's very good against me. Okay. That hurts my feelings. Also, Vexing Bauble in your Hollow One deck is very odd. No blocks. We'll take it. I'm at 9. So we found Song of Creation. Stupid Vexing Bauble. We'll play the song. And Mox Amber. And I boarded out the Haywire Might too, so answering this Vexing Bauble will not be easy. I have to discard my hand, which includes our win condition after I boarded out the Conjurer's Bauble, because I said we rarely need it. This is not going well. So I have to block, and then it turns off my Mox Jamber and my Mox Opal. I said Mox Jamber. Mox Jasper. Okay, we'll block. I go to 3. I don't know how we get out of this. Draw for turn. Play Mox Opal. We'll play the Changeling. This will turn on the Mox Jasper. We'll play another copy of Mox Jasper. We'll be countered, but we get to draw 2. Land number 1. Fetch. I boarded out the Conjurer's Bauble, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's not in here. So I don't actually have a win condition. I mean, I have a win condition, just not one that wins this turn through their board presence and the Vexing Bauble. So I will concede. Bummer. Alright, so we are now 0-3. Let's see if we can get match number 4. If you're still watching, make sure to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. While you're near the description, here's a reminder to use our affiliate links if you're going to make a purchase from Amazon, Card Hoarder, or TCG Player. Just above those affiliate links, you'll find our social channels. Make sure to join those to connect with us. Round number 4 on the play. Sure, this seems fairly decent. We'll try it. It's a turn 1 changeling, turn 2 Magda. You could even glimpse of the Cosmos on turn 2 as well, but I think I'd rather save the mana. We'll play Scalding Tarn and fetch. Grab Steam Vents, ouch. Play the changeling. Play Bobble. Pass the turn. In their upkeep, we'll bobble them. Titan again. Okay. Ugh, that's not good. They play Boseiju, Arboreal Grazer, and Urza's Saga. We'll draw off the bobble. Song was an amazing draw. We'll play the Saga. Are we actually going to beat Titan one game? Make a treasure. Play the Automaton. Tap for... I guess I don't need to. I'm just going to be lazy and do it now. Tap this. 2 more treasures. Pass the turn. So next turn we can play Song and play Glimpse of the Cosmos, or Glimpse the Cosmos. This is definitely one of the better hands we've drawn this league. They play a Mycosynth Gardens, Explore, Gruul Turf. So this could pick up the Boseiju, but they don't have mana to activate it. Alright, so we get a window to win here. Blue, colorless, red, and green. We'll play Song of Creation. Play the Urza Saga. Tap for a colorless. We'll create a treasure. And then play Glimpse the Cosmos. Draw 2. There's no zeros. We're playing 12 Moxen and no zeros. Okay. We'll fetch. What's nice here is that the Automaton essentially replaces itself and draws 2. Mana-wise. Because you can always use it to create treasures with the Magda. Alright, it looks like we're going to finally combo out, which is what this deck wants to do. Play a Mox Opal. Here we go. Blue, play another Opal. This is what the deck was designed for right here. We'll play Mishra's Bauble, 35 cards left. Tormod's Crypt. Another Mishra's Bauble. Tap the Mox Jasper for a blue. We'll play another. Play a Changeling. Mox Jasper for a blue. We'll play another. 25 cards left in deck. We just have to draw the rest of our library. Play an Automaton off the red. So much mana. We'll play Glimpse the Cosmos. Take Mox Amber. Okay, 18 cards left in our library. Tons of mana here. We'll play another Mox Amber. 14 cards left. Play a Changeling. Our devotion is currently 4 for THIS Oracle, just something to keep note. You don't actually have to draw your entire library. Keep the new Mox Amber. Play Mox Opal. And we'll keep the new one. 8 cards left in our library. Still no THIS Oracle. Tap the Opal for a blue. We'll play the new one. 6 cards left. I mean, I don't have the Oracle in my hand, right? Like, I'm not crazy. Okay, so it is on the bottom of our deck. We'll play a Changeling. We'll play Conjurer's Bauble. So I guess it was the bottom of our deck before. And there's the Oracle. Okay, so now we'll play THIS Oracle. And if they try to Endurance me, I could Tormod's Crypt myself. Okay. Well, that was nice that we actually got to do the thing. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Alright, what if Emery's just not good enough? Like, what if that's a real possibility? And we'll bring in the Consigned Memories, and if I do Needle, I can name the Aftermath Analyst. Let's try this. Game number 2, we're on the draw. This hand doesn't do anything. I think you're supposed to send it back. This hand does do something, so I think we keep this. Get rid of Tormod's Crypt. So I can play the Magda on the first turn, but I have to Legend Rule a Mox Opal. They play a Crumbling Vestige. Amulet of Vigor. Okay. Changeling. Honestly, that was a good draw. We'll play Bobble. Play the Mox Jasper. Play Opal. Red. Opal. And the Magda. Ooh, I think I messed up. In my head, the Mox Jasper was Mox Amber. And I went to go cast my Changeling, but I should have played the Changeling and then Magda. So I just lost out on mana. That's disappointing. That's really not good. Because I could have played the Changeling and made 2 mana, which would have given me turn 2 Song of Creation. But in my head, it was an Amber and not a Jasper. I swear I'm not trying to throw matches here. They play a second Amulet of Vigor. Am I dead? Is this just a turn 2 win? Wow. Yeah, this is just a turn 2. I guess my misplay didn't even matter. Okay. I'm going to save myself some life equity. We'll go to the next one. I had a nuts hand. I mean, granted, I misplayed it, but I had a nuts hand. We'll submit. I don't think that this is good enough. We'll mulligan. This is close. I fear it's not going to be enough, but we'll keep it. Our opponent took a decent amount of time and then mulliganed to 4. So who knows what their 4 cards look like. I'm going to play Scalding Tarn and pass. We'll use the Surveil land on the end step. They play Besage Who Adores, a Boreal Grazer. I don't love that they have Besage because they could pick it up with a Gruul Turf. Yep. And now they have Besage for my Song of Creation. We'll fetch. Grab Thundering Falls. Get rid of the Bauble. We don't have time for that. Draw one anyway. Play out the Bauble. Target them. Crumbling Vestige. We'll play Changeling. Pass the turn. We draw land number 3. They play the Crumbling Vestige. And they just pass. Ooh, Magda. That was a good draw. So we'll play it. We'll give our Changeling flying. I guess it doesn't matter because the Grazer has reach. So we'll play Steam Vents tapped. Pass the turn. Create another treasure. And now they'll block. Pass the turn back. So next turn, I could play the Song of Creation and then get at least 2 draws, or well, 1 draw off it. I get 1 trigger that draws 2 cards if they hold open Besage. I don't think there's a way for me to answer the Besage. I boarded in the Needle, actually, for Aftermath Analyst, so I would need to find that. But I don't feel like it's a one-of, and we don't have an Urza Saga in play, so it's kind of random. They're going to play Summoner's Pact. Sure. Collector Oof. Really? Was not expecting that one. And now they replay the Besage. We find Urza Saga. Let's attack. So they'll take 2, and we'll just pass the turn. I could play out the Song of Creation. I just don't think it's right, because I've already played 1 land. So if I wait a turn, maybe there's a world in which I draw well enough. I don't know. They play out Otawara, and now they swing. So I can either play Song next turn, or I could make a large Construct. I think Construct Beatdown is where we're at. Swing. And I think... So right now I have 6 treasures. So I guess if I make a Saga, it would be a 7/7. So I don't need to play out anything from my hand. We can keep those artifacts hidden for now. Our opponent is making 5 mana. So we've been in the tank a lot this game. And now they're going to Scape Shift. Okay. Without an Amulet in play, I don't believe that this is lethal. So I'm interested in seeing what they do. So this allows them to make 2 green and then pick up Besage. And they're going to try to destroy the Saga. I will make a Construct. Yes. We'll grab Watery Grave, I suppose. They have 2 cards remaining in their hand. I think that we're supposed to play Song and pump up our Construct a bunch, but it's also possible that we draw our entire library. We have 2 untapped blue sources left in our deck. If I can draw... So we have 45 cards. Like, it's theoretically possible that I draw the entire deck and play Oracle and win through the Collector Oof. Will it happen? Probably not, but there's always the chance that it does. So we'll fetch, grab the island, play Mox Jasper, play Mox Amber, and I don't want to play the Saga because it would shut off my ability to play the Oracle. Something kind of cool is if I fail to win, I could, in theory, consign the Song trigger during my end step. And it looks like that might be the play here. So we'll play the Otawara and go to combat. Swing, swing. Look at this board, it's massive. So they're going to take 4. And then on the end step, there's this trigger that I will now consign to memory. And we'll go to cleanup. Get rid of Mox Opal. I really think that Magic Online could have made my board wrap instead of just going complete full width. Like, it looks ridiculous. Also, we're very close to getting our first match win here. I love that. Oh, it folded. They just needed to play a permanent. Okay. Aftermath Analyst. Sure. And it looks like they're going to be passing. Alright, I have to imagine we can win now. We'll play Tormod Script, Mox Opal, and we're back to the scrolling part of the game, I guess. We'll play Urza's Saga. Why does it do that? I hate it so much. We'll play Needle. We'll name Aftermath Analyst. I can fetch out the final fetchable land in our deck. Ouch. Play Mox Jasper. Play a Changeling, I guess. 2 lands. Play another Changeling. 18 cards left. We'll play a Bauble. Play Opal. And now we have arrows going side to side. That's, not weird. Play the Bauble. I'm sorry, Mox Amber. And I drew the Oracle. So our devotion is currently 3. We'll play a Changeling. This will make it 4. Mox Jasper brings it down to 8 cards left. We'll play Conjurer's Bauble. So this is 6 cards left. And now we'll play an Oracle, and I will have enough devotion to win. And I could even counter an Endurance trigger with a Consign to Memory. So play the Oracle, and I believe we've done it. Okay. We did it. We beat Titan. How about that? It only took them on a mulligan to 4 game 3. But we got one. Let's try to get the next one and get half my play points back. I will see you in match number 5. The Gold Sabertooth times the Epic Storm collection has arrived with 3 full-size tokens showcasing the beloved Dark Ritual, CDH Rogsai, and Legacy of the Epic Storm for just $5. On the backs of these tokens, there's a place for my signature or a custom message. In addition to these sweet tokens, a friendly reminder that all orders that ship from theepicstorm.com also come with a signed Storm token from yours truly. The final round of this Modern League, we're on the draw. This hand doesn't actually do anything. You could try to just overwhelm them with constructs, or you can mulligan to a hand that has Song of Creation. It's just, the Oracle's a dead card, so it's like a mulligan already. And then the Magda would have to connect in order to make a treasure and then keep on making treasures. I feel like this hand is sort of a trap. I'm going to mulligan. This will keep. Get rid of the breeding pool. Alright. Turn 1 Polluted Delta. For a Watery Grave. Thoughtseize. Okay, so we're probably losing our Emery. Goodbye. We'll play Mox Opal, Mox Jasper, Mishra's Bauble, and the Urza's Saga, because I can start making constructs on the second turn. Our opponent plays their own Urza Saga into Shadow Spear. Mox Opal. I have no idea what they're playing. Netherglyph. Yeah, absolutely no clue. We draw a Changeling, which is honestly kind of terrible here. I guess it turns on the Mox Jasper, so it's worth playing. And then we'll just grab like a basic. Pass the turn. Their Saga goes to the second chapter. I have genuinely no clue what they're playing here. Alright, it looks like they're not going to attack. End step, we'll make a construct. We'll draw another Changeling. Make another construct. And I think we'll grab Haywire Might, play Thundering Falls, and I think we want the Urza Saga. Attack for 6. They don't block. Oh, I guess I could have attacked with the Changeling. Whoops. I lost out on a point of damage there. I could have given it flying with the Haywire Might. They fetch with the Delta for a basic Swamp. So if I could hit the Saga here and stop them from making another construct, and getting an artifact, which I think might be worth it. Yeah, we'll kill the Saga. If I lose this game by 1 point of damage, I'm going to be sad. They cycle Street Wraith down to 6. They play an Asmo, so now they can go get an Underworld Cookbook. So I know what they're playing now. Yep. They can make a food token. They discard my Changeling, sure. I think it would be a mistake to sacrifice the Bauble, so I'll just draw the Saga. So they have a card left in their hand. They could trade a construct for one of my constructs. We'll swing. So they can discard the card in their hand, turn their construct into a 5/5, and then they could double block the other if they want. But it looks like the answer is no. They discard Psychic Frog. We'll play our other Saga. Pass the turn. They're going to equip the Shadow Spear, so now they have a 4/4 Trample lifelink. They'll go up to 8. No blocks. So they can't bring back the Nethergoyf this turn. That's interesting. I think I'm just going to draw Magda. That's a reasonable draw here. We'll play the Magda, make a construct, and if they don't use the Asmo to kill the construct here, I can actually make my construct live through the 6 damage. I think they messed up. We'll tap the Magda. We'll create a treasure. And now they concede. Nice. Alright, so we're 1 game away. We want the Spell Bomb. I think we want the Needle. Probably want the Nature's Claim. Likely want the Beseiju. I mean, Galvanic Blast doesn't seem bad either. Am I supposed to just sideboard into a fair deck here? Maybe that's what the Ledger Shredders are for? Like, what if I just bring it at all? Maybe not the Back to Nature, but what if, hypothetically, board out the Mox Jasper, board out the Changelings, board out the Universal Automaton at 62, and like maybe 2 Magda? Let's try it. Sure, we'll give this a try. I don't know how good it is, but can't hurt. Keep. Watery Grave. Cecil Dark Knight. Sure. Play Scalding Tarn, and I think I'm going to just pass and then try to Surveil on their end step. I could play out the zeros, but I'm also holding a Song of Creation, so ideally I could play Song and then use those to trigger the Song of Creation later. Nethergoyf, okay. There's a Saga. Aggressive start. They still have 3 cards in their hand. We'll fetch. Grab the Thundering Falls. I definitely want the Opal. Because that means I'm only 1 mana away from playing the Song. And now we'll play the Magda. Pass the turn. So I could have a turn 3 Song of Creation, assuming that the Magda is allowed to attack. Looted Delta. No blocks. They go to 14, I'm at 15. Nature's Claim. Go to combat. Swing. They fetch in response. Sure. So I am fine trading the Magda with the construct here if that's what they want to do, because I'm going to be able to resolve Song of Creation. We'll play the Mox Opal. Play Tormod's Crypt. Blue, colorless, green, and red. Play Song of Creation. Play Mishra's Bauble, trigger Song. Breeding Pool. Ouch. And I can now destroy the Urza Saga. Trigger the Song. And unfortunately, we have to pass the turn. In their upkeep, I will bobble them. Street Wraith, okay. They cycle Street Wraith, Psychic Frog. I think I'll take 5 here. So I could sacrifice the Tormod's Crypt to make the Nethergoyf smaller, but it helps with my Mox Opal Metalcraft, so I don't think I want to give that up. Haywire Might, and now Urza Saga. We'll tap for a colorless. We'll grab Aether Spellbomb, play the Haywire Might, trigger, another Magda, play the Misty, we'll fetch down to 7. I guess the Ledger Shredder is just better than Magda. Mox Amber, that was a good draw, we'll play it. Trigger, another Amber. So now I'll play the Magda because we'll enable the Mox Amber. Draw 2, Needle, play Mox Amber, a Bobble, okay. Keep the new Amber. We'll play the Watery Grave down to 5 life. Play the Mishra's Bauble. Play Needle. We'll name Psychic Frog. Okay. We'll Galvanic Blast the Cecil. Draw 2. 25 cards left. We'll play a Mox Opal. Hey, and the opponent concedes. We got the match, so we finished this 2-3. A rough start to this league, I will admit, but we bounced back. So what did I think? Well, my honest feedback is, well, thank you to Kelly Kais for the donation deck. That's really, I do mean that. That said, I don't think the Changeling Dwarf package is better than just playing like Tamiyo Inquisitive Student and Emery. So yes, we're playing Emery, but I think the build that I uploaded a couple months ago that had Tamiyos in it, it wasn't playing Mox Jasper, it was just more consistent, and your card power level was a lot higher. I felt like in this particular list, the card quality was pretty low, if I'm being honest. And there was games where I just opened up a hand and I was like, this doesn't do anything way too often. So, yeah, it's cool that we got to make a giant Corvold and attack at one point. But I think if I was to play a Song of Creation deck, I'd look back at that Tamiyo Inquisitive Student build that I played. That's my honest feedback. Hopefully no one's upset by that. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful day. Keep storming. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to support the channel. After you do that, open up our description where you can find all of our social media networks, including our Discord, where you can discuss today's deck in that Discord with me and tons of other combo masterminds. It's absolutely free to join, and it's certainly worth your while.